I got you on this one, Coach. It ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The fanatic. Where we keep it 100, keep it real. That's the only way we know how to be. Talking that sports talk. You know what I'm saying? Straight out of South Carolina. Upstate, A64. Yeah. The FANATTIC. The fanatic where we keep it OG. We talking sports, so I call what I see. I love the fans like they part of my team. I love the fans like they part of my team. Come rock with me. We got it jumping like it's that valley. I call my dogs out the pound, let's go eat. Turn on the fanatic, let's have a debate. Who really hold down the southeast from state to state? What team hungry gon' eat everything up off they plate? Who the next one that's really gon' step up and be great? Yeah, the FANATTIC. The fanatic where we keep it OG. We talking sports, so I call what I see. I love the fans like they part of my team. Yeah, part of my team. I love the fans like they part of my team. Part of my team. I love the fans like they part of my team. Yeah. Don't forget to smash that like button. Comment, subscribe, all that. The fanatic. Yeah.
Welcome into the Fanatic Sports Channel for sports fans by sports fans. It's your boy Coach I. Where my dogs at?
You know what they is.
All right, man. Back in here after a week of missing in action for all of us. Another episode of the Fanatic Football Live presented by the Johnson Development Group and the Tailgate Kings. All my boys back in the house. Missed y'all dudes. We didn't get to talk it up last week, but we had a couple of big victories. So what's going on down there, CA?
Hey, man, ranked number one. You know, I can't ask for more. You know, I got a don't worry, be happy theme playing in my head, and I'm not going to let my joy be stolen tonight. I've made my mind up. But excited. You know, we got a lot in front of us. We want to take a close look at the injury bug, make sure we stay healthy, but I can't complain. Dogs on top.
That's right. Dogs on top. Speaking of stealing the thunder and stealing the joy, what's going on, Dad? Shouted Parker.
Oh, man, that stole Christmas.
You know, it's good to be back, man. You know, happy to be 10-0. You know, it's hard to say anything bad about being 10-0. I mean, it's such a great feeling. But from the few shows that I missed, I'm glad you guys came up with this term called nitpicking. So anytime I want to say something, you know, that's, you know, not quite agreeable, I'm just nitpicking.
That's right. That's for real. What about you, Cool Cow? How you feeling, man? We are 10-0, 8-0 in the SEC for the first time since 1982.
Wow, that was a good stat, Coach. That's what's up. Well, since you said that, I guess I gotta be feeling pretty good though. But you know, we got Charleston Southern this week, man. We gotta make sure we
keep our
go out
head
there
on
and play hard. There we go. You know what I'm saying? Play fast and physical. Stick to the game plan and execute.
Right. We are one. Hey, we 1 week at a time. So, JB, how you feeling this lovely evening, my brother?
Man, just reflecting everything everybody else said. Man, we undefeated in the SEC. It's a great feeling, man. I'm receiving all the hate out here already from these Bama fans who really want to just run up to get beat down. But, you know, we with all of that. We're going to handle these next few weeks, get healthy, make sure we keep our mind on our money and our money on our mind, keep our eyes on the prize, and march towards the SEC championship game where I feel like we're going to have a spectacular show. So I'm ready. Let's talk.
Let's do it. E-Rob, man, coming off a good win at Tennessee and beating down Mizzou 2 weeks ago. How you feeling over there, dope?
I don't know if I can follow up JV. He can hit me with the rhyme and everything, man. I need to come back to me.
I'm thirsty, my friends.
3 words. 10-0.
Boom.
That's all I got to say. We are 10-0, y'all. We number 1 in the country. We got the biggest point differential in the country, which is what matters. We scored this much. They scored this much. It's a big gap.
That's right. I'm
Dogs
with
on
that.
top.
That's a stat that definitely matters regardless of who you playing. We was 20-point favorites in Knoxville. We covered the 20 and a little bit more. And all for that, that last touchdown, I don't really count that. So, I mean, I look at it like they scored 10 points. They came out fast and furious on us, but we adjusted real quick. So, Thad, what you see Saturday, man? What you want to nitpick on tonight, man? I might be right there with you.
I won't be the dead horse. I'm just kind of, I think what we're doing, I'm not surprised at what we're doing. It's just about how we're doing.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I'm still like I was weeks ago. I don't think nobody expects us to not be at this point. I just think, once again, it's about how we're doing it. So just from a nitpicking standpoint, once again, I'm just back to those 3 games. That's where I'm at. That's where I always been. So I'm along for the ride. I'm with it all day. I'm with it. But to me, football is going to be played those 3 games that I mentioned weeks ago.
True that. What you feeling good about tonight about that Tennessee game, CA? What'd you like other than the fact that we beat them down?
A lot to like. I didn't like this, to see my guys laying across the field. It looked like we had a lot of injuries, to pop up on. There's nothing overly significant that I can recall, but it's aside from bringing up my dislikes, I was impressed by what Stetson gave me. The versatility, the mobility, what he can do when the play breaks down. I know Thad kind of, he say it's beating a dead horse, but that's the topic. We all here to talk about what's right in front of us. I can't keep running from it. And at this point, we already talked offline. It ain't a lot to say about Charleston Southern. It ain't a lot to brag about on Tennessee, and Georgia Tech is just in the way. Now we're gonna have to address everybody as they come, but the quarterback position has been what has been the question mark. And I was expecting to see a lot more guys get an opportunity as far as get snaps. I was expecting to see JT in the last 2 games. I didn't see that, so that just tells me 2 things. Number one, not only do they believe in what Stetson is doing and how he's moving the offense, he's not perfect, but they feel strongly about it and how it complements the defense. It seems like is what the coaching staff is saying. But I'm not even sure if JT's 100% healthy. I know what we've heard and what we've been told, but I refuse to believe, because he came into the year as a starter for a reason. And if you are the starter, then that didn't just happen overnight either. So because we don't get an opportunity to even see him get a chance, it leads me to believe it might be a little bit more to this injury situation. But I'm nitpicking. I'm shooting at arrows in the dark. I don't know exactly, but what I do feel like is clear is Stetson is probably going to get a chance to move us forward. So I wasn't mad with his performance. I felt much better about his performance this past week than I did against Florida. So, I'm here to see week-to-week progression. Right now, it's going to be hard for me to see JT getting a shot, even though we all know we might get to the point where we need to see a lot more passing. So, not mad at the quarterback play. Looks like I'm going to be stuck with Stetson, and I can't complain.
Okay, I can definitely get with a lot of that, man. Something you talked about at the beginning, injuries. Seems like, I know you can always get hurt, playing football, basketball, whatever, but it seems like when we go to Knoxville, we always have some
we always get hurt.
injuries.
No,
JV, when y'all played, JV, do you remember going to Knoxville and the people getting hurt? Is it the way they cutting the grass up there? What's going on in Neyland, man? It's like...
Well, number one, when I was playing, we were going up to Neyland, we were getting handled. So our feelings was hurt more than our bodies was. And that's just the God honest truth about the whole situation.
I didn't mean to drag up bad memories, my man.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Coach. Stay thirsty, my friends.
I don't know. I don't like CA said. I think Kirby came out and said none of them was lasting injuries. Everybody should be good this week. But with that, E-Rob, how much you think our starters should play Saturday? I mean, should they play the whole first half and then come out, or should we try to get the backups in as quick as possible because we are trying to avoid injury?
That's a good question. And, you know, Kirby's going to have to find that balance of, that's a good question. We'll see. For me, I think Kirby likes to send messages to the team. So taking those guys out real early is not a message that he wants to send to the team. He doesn't want them to overlook anyone.
True.
We are here to play ball. We are here to play to a standard. Can't do that if, you know, you stand on the sideline. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I do want to point this out, though. Like you said, we've blown people out. We didn't do our show last week, the last 2 weeks. That Tennessee game was impressive because that offense that they have, it could get you. You know what I'm saying? They could get you on some big plays. But more importantly, we blew Missouri out. We walked through that game. We blew them out, right?
Yeah.
When Kirby got back to the locker room, he didn't have to say nothing. Even though they blew him out, they wasn't back there celebrating. I think it was Neyland Smith gave a speech to the team. That ain't gonna get it. This is after a blowout, y'all. That's why I think this team is built different. I think we got big things on the horizon. And what you said is right, CA. Stetson Bennett, we're gonna see he can make some plays, but it's great having JT on the bench. The last 2 times we done play Alabama, their second string quarterback beat us. It wasn't the starter, it wasn't the one that was setting all the records. We was killing them. It was the backup. So it's good to have that. We'll see if we need it. Break the glass and send his brittle butt back out there. Let's go ahead.
And on that note, Cool Cal, man, like I said, at this point, I think we all know that Stetson is the starter. That's just what it is. He's been playing,
Absolutely.
You know, he's been playing really efficient. But coming into games like the Charleston Southern game and Georgia Tech game, where we're pretty much, I ain't gonna say it's 100%, but we pretty much know that we're gonna get a big lead early. How much does JT need to play to get some rust off? Because you still want your backup, because that's what JT is right now. You still want your backup to be oiled up and ready to go. As we saw in the Missouri game, he came in and he threw good passes, but he was a little rusty. He overthrew one. He threw behind a receiver and got the pick or whatever. But how much you think he need to play on Saturday? Like, you know what I'm saying? Kind of along the lines of, you know, getting the backups in.
Well, honestly, I would like to see him play a lot, just for the fact of, you know, getting some reps and getting some game time, you know, throws to be out there with the team. You know, like we said, you know, he played some in the Missouri game, but then we didn't get a chance to see him in the Tennessee game. So it's hard to actually even say what's going on with the situation, because we had a good lead in the Tennessee game where I felt like, okay, well, let's see him get some snaps. And he didn't get any snaps. So I don't know what's going on with the situation. I think CA hinted on it, somebody before. Maybe the injury situation is a little bit more severe than we think or know. And maybe they're doing a good job of maybe masking it. I don't know. I haven't seen a situation quite like this where I can remember a situation like this. So Stetson's our guy. You know, whatever Kirby's going to do, let's just roll with it.
Yeah, at this point, I'm like y'all, man. I just want JT to get some reps in case we need him, because I don't want him coming off the bench cold. Because like I said, it's obvious that, you know, Stetson is the starter. He's efficient. He's been winning. So I mean, I think I'm like, he definitely played better against Tennessee than he did against Florida. Florida, I don't know what was going on against Mizzou. I like Erik said, I think we sleptwalked through that game and still blew them out. So it is what it is at this point in the situation. I do have a question for you, Thad, and I'm going to tell you my answer after you tell me what you think. Is Stetson better this year than he was last year? Or is he just that he has the defense and we look better as a team?
Well, I mean, that definitely helps. I think he's definitely playing better. He's getting more opportunity. But I think he has a lot more around him that's helping his play. It's just, you know, it's amazing. I've been sitting back. It seems like, you know, to me, I don't care who the quarterback is. I always thought it was about whether JT gave us the best chance to win, right? That's what I thought it was about. So that was the whole Stetson JT debate. But it sounds like everybody at this point, which this is where we are, we know Stetson got the players. If he's starting, he's the guy. But now it sounds like I'm hearing people saying at this point, Stetson is now better than JT.
I didn't say
That's
that.
what it sounds like I'm hearing. No, I'm just saying that's what I said. Sound like
who's saying
what we're saying is Stetson.
Only reason I'm saying that because everybody's saying let's roll with Stetson.
He's playing
our
well.
starter.
I didn't say that.
He's good.
Do you even listen to what we saying?
I don't think you.
I didn't say that.
No, nobody said that.
Nobody said that.
Nobody said
Hold
that.
We said. I said what I said is we can agree that at this point we all realize that Stetson is the starter. Whereas 2
That's
weeks
what I just said. I said we realize that now.
You
Stetson
said we think he's better than JT.
Well, see how that differs.
No.
How that differs. Listen, hold on.
I'm asking the question. If y'all would listen to me, what I'm saying is everybody is saying that at this point we know Stetson is the starter.
But
right?
that's not the same as saying Stetson is better than
that's
JT.
The coach that said he's the starter.
Hold on. Just relax, guys.
Go ahead.
Just relax. We all know that Stetson is the starter at this point. Because whatever reason, JT, whatever it may be, I don't know.
Yeah.
Stetson is the starter.
Yeah.
Right. We all know that. But what I'm asking is because at the beginning of the season, we all were under the impression that JT, which I mean, that's now you said you didn't want to run from him. You
at the beginning of the season, though.
Right.
Let him get it out.
Listen. So what I'm saying is, if JT was the starter, we all assume at that point that he was the better of the two quarterbacks, right?
True.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So what I'm saying is now that Stetson is starting, and whatever's going on with JT, the way that he's been playing. Do we say now Stetson, because you asked the question, was he better than last year? Just trying to the question. Do we think now Stetson is better than JT? That's what it sounds like. Because we want him to keep playing and just roll with it until he messes up.
Hold on.
Right now, he's the better quarterback.
Well, what I got from that is we know that Stetson is the quarterback and we can't change that. Whereas 3 weeks ago, it looked like Stetson was for all intents and purposes, holding the place until JT got healthy. But as of these last couple of weeks, it looks like Stetson is the starter. I still believe JT is the better quarterback. I've never changed my position on that. I still believe that. But at this point, I don't think it's a waiver in Kirby's mind. I think Kirby and Todd Monken are saying Stetson is the quarterback. Just because we saying that, okay, we just have to go with that now, doesn't mean that we think Stetson is better than JT. I don't think anybody on here said that. So, I mean, I can't interpret it for you.
Oh, even though he's playing better, we don't think he's the better quarterback at this point?
I don't.
Even though he's playing better?
I don't.
He's playing better because he's actually playing. JT's not playing.
Yeah, I mean, he's on a roll. I can take nothing from Stetson, but I feel like if JT was healthy and playing as much as Stetson, he would be better than Stetson. That's just
and I'm gonna be honest with you. Just about every quarterback that we played on our schedule, if we put them on our team, that we'd be 10-0.
I agree.
And I asked you if you thought Stetson was better because last year Stetson didn't get it done against Alabama. He didn't get it done against Florida. He looked bad. He didn't even look great again in some of the wins that he had. And I just asked if you thought he was better or it was that he felt safer because he knows it takes pressure off of people when you say, if I mess up.
Y'all know how I feel about Stetson. I don't care how he's playing. I
just asked if you thought he was better from last year. That's all I was asking.
But how you gonna say you don't care how you play? I mean, that I just don't understand that. Like,
what I'm saying is, I know what I'm gonna get out of this. I know his.
What are you gonna get? How do you know that? He's playing better than he did last year.
I think he's playing better than last year.
No, he's leading the country in big plays. Like,
I think he's
not the damn defense. That has nothing to do with the defense. Yards per play, per pass play, we in front. We're like first. That's not the defense. Stop saying that. That's stupid.
I didn't say it was the defense. I said that the defense the defense takes pressure off of
I'm gonna sip this tea.
Right, but you still got to complete the pass.
Yes.
You still got to make the play.
And I said that he's playing better this year, E-Rob.
Right. Stop. That ain't the defense. That's him.
Okay. You missing the whole point of what I was saying.
No, I'm not. I'm just
yes,
saying
you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. If you don't have as much, some people can't perform under pressure. If you don't have as much pressure on you, you can perform better. The defense takes pressure off of you. Point A, point B, point C. I'm done. That's all I'm saying. I'm like, bro, you are somebody that's not the defense. I never said the defense. I never said
the pass.
And I said he was playing better. I said he was playing better. Like I said, his mentality, bro. Like I don't know what y'all be hearing when people talk.
This is
y'all
pure
be in y'all own world hearing the whole
entertainment.
thing, dog.
No.
Preview. You know,
Here's what got me going. Dad says he don't care how he plays. What kind of shit? What? What you mean you don't care how he plays?
Only reason I said that is because I didn't mean that literally. What I'm saying is I know what the type of player he is. I know what I'm gonna get out of him.
Don't say I don't care how he plays. That's terrible, man. What do you mean? I care how he plays.
We only got Charleston Southern this weekend, guys. It's only Charleston Southern.
Speaking of Stetson, Stetson is a semifinalist for the Davey O'Brien Award, which is the best quarterback.
That's the defense.
No. I told you, man, people hear what they want to hear.
I'm messing with you, coach. We can't talk about Charleston stuff. We got to talk about stuff. But it's the defense.
Hey, Stetson is also one of 3 finalists for the walk-on, the best athlete that started as a walk-on.
Yeah.
We also have other players up for awards. Jordan Davis is one of 3 finalists for the Nagurski Award. N'Kobe Dean is one of 8 finalists for the Butkus Award. So shout out to the players that's on the semifinalists and the finalist list. Hopefully we'll come away with some of those. I think the best chance of Stetson is actually going to be the walk-on award. I mean, Jordan Davis is on. He's the one of 3 finalists. It's him, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Will Anderson from Alabama. I think Kayvon Thibodeau gets way more hype than either of the other 2 players. So I think he's going to win that award, not because he's better, but because he gets more hype. So that's why I say Stetson pretty much got the walk-on award locked up. So
yeah, I think Dean got the Buckets Award locked too.
I think so.
I agree with you, Cam.
Yeah, I did see a preseason ranking that had him going early in the first round. So,
hey, guy, I got a question. Since we can't talk about Charleston Southern, we talking about this. Who is the best player on our defense? Who's the number one? Who's the guy we cannot be without?
I think that's a loaded question, man. Like best, and I don't know. Depends. I think it depends on the team.
Put it like this: we've had 3 to 4 different consecutive players of the week on defense.
Wow.
And they've all been, again, a different person each week playing phenomenally.
Because,
you know what I'm saying?
Your boy Nick Brace out there giving people the
see, that's what I was going to say. N'Kobe is
considered, Mr. Nick Brace, man, that's his superpower.
N'Kobe is considered the best linebacker we have, but he only leads Channing Tindall in one category, and that's interceptions. Other than that, Channing Tindall leads in tackles. He leads in tackles for loss. They're tied in sacks, but N'Kobe has 2 picks. So
that's who I picked as that guy. We couldn't be without. I thought N'Kobe was the dude we got to have.
I think N'Kobe.
His leadership and stuff across the board.
That's why I think we can't go without N'Kobe, because Nolan Smith and Jordan Davis both and Lewis Seen have all said N'Kobe calls the plays, wrong or right. We all follow N'Kobe. So most of the time he looks like he's calling them right. So I don't want to be without that. So what did you say just a minute ago, Thad?
No, I mean, I agree with you. I was just saying, I just think we're so deep. We have so many players, because that's why none of our guys are stacking up, from a statistics standpoint, top 10 or nothing, because we're just so deep. Everybody making plays on each and every level of the defense. So, it's just a testament to, the recruiting and the depth of the defense.
Through that, and I did leave out. Sorry about that. Brock Bowers, he is on the semifinals list for the Mackey Award for the best tight end in the nation. So,
man, he need to get that. Should have gave him to him 2 or 3 weeks ago.
So,
Shout out to
He should have had a
Bowers.
long touchdown against Tennessee. Stetson missed him. He was wide open. That was, man.
Hey,
Wow.
before we move away from this conversation about the importance of the guys on defense and who's the best, I was reading a quick little article, man, and they were talking about Neyland Smith, and they were highlighting, like, everybody, no question, everybody completely gives Nakobe Dean his props and his flowers about being the leader of that team, but I don't think that they have like one alpha leader above another alpha leader. I think they have multiple alpha leaders, and they put what's my guy's name? I just said, I just forgot.
Neyland Smith.
Neyland Smith. They put him in that category too, man. They said that this kid is an absolute animal. He demands and requires everybody to play hard. He's a loud, boisterous individual. So that's where they might be a little bit different. Mm-hmm. But listen, I love it. I've been loving this ride the whole season. That's why I'm so hell-bent on making sure I observe and take all of it in that I can. But shout out to Neyland Smith too, bro.
Did Tennessee CA show you anything in our secondary that you are concerned about at all?
Nothing new. Tennessee is Tennessee, though. I think they're going to be a unique challenge because of the tempo, and they actually do a great job. I think that script that they walked out of the locker room with was good. Josh Heupel has that team primed as far as play calling and execution. They just don't have the depth, and they didn't have the wherewithal to just hang with us after once we got going. So I do think they showed that our secondary can be, attacked, especially if you can use tempo, but you got to have the athletes to go along with that tempo. It can't just be about the speed of your offense. But Tennessee, you can't say they exposed it because they weren't able to do it again. Just between their first and second score, that's a whole game. So the adjustments that were made, were made right on site. You did get that touchdown, but we didn't see Tennessee again until, we had the third team in there, and we were still, fighting them pretty tough. So I don't think they showed a weakness. They did show some vulnerability that we've always known is there. The question is, can it be exposed? That's going to be the hardest part, because even though it's there, it's about actually getting it done. And with what we have in the cover, with what we lean on that defense, whether you think it's smart or not, I feel like that defense will wear you down. So it's going to be hard for any team to have that time to do what Tennessee did early. And I don't think it was anything that shows we can get exposed yet, because we got athletes.
Outside of Tennessee, I don't think nobody running that breakneck pace other than like Ole Miss, who we won't see, in those 3 games that Thad referenced, the SEC Championship, playoff, first round, and a Natty. Cal, is there anybody prospectively that you see that have the athletes that might be, even though they don't go fast like that, to have the athletes nationwide that might be able to at least put some pressure on the defense?
Oh, absolutely. Number one team that comes to mind for me is Ohio State. Ohio State they're dominant on the outside. They've got a quarterback. Stroud's been getting better all year. Other than that, that's about the only team that I look at and I say that we're going to have some real challenges there. I don't really see a ton of challenges with anybody else throughout the 60 minutes of a game.
I feel you on that. What about you, Thad?
I just feel like anybody who we play in those 3 games, I don't care what combination it is, and it's not necessarily for me, and that's what I've been about the whole year. For me, it's not necessarily about scheme, which scheme is a big thing, but it's just about matchup. Yeah. It's about the athletes. And those 3, whomever those 3 teams are, I'm not saying they're going to be better than us on paper athletically, But I just think those would be the true matchups from an athletic standpoint that we'll be on play all year long. And those are the games that I'm worried about.
Is anybody other than Ohio State nationwide that you caught a glimpse of that you think have the athletes?
Alabama.
Okay.
Listen, man. Listen. Okay. Listen. We haven't beaten them yet, guys. You know, at the end of the day, we got to beat these folks. So until that day, you're gonna keep hearing Alabama because you got to beat them. That's the measuring stick. So we still got to beat Alabama. We got to beat them.
Yeah,
they definitely can match up athletically. Ohio State can match up athletically.
Yeah, I'm with you on both of those. I think Alabama and Ohio State. I think honestly, outside of those two, I don't see anybody having the total Jimmys and Joes to be able to stay with us, like CA said, for a whole 4 quarters. That defense is gonna wear you down. So. We'll get to see here in 2 weeks. I mean, unless something crazy happened, all Alabama got to do is win one of the next 2 games in the end, which I'm pretty sure, I mean, anything's possible, but it's highly unlikely that they lose to Arkansas and Auburn. So, I mean, it's that time. I mean, JV said off camera, he's already started getting it in his ear about from the Alabama fans. So we'll get to see what we look like, man. And it ain't whether or not we can build a lead on them, because we've done that twice already. It's can we sustain the lead and finish the drill? So
it is. Yes, it is. 100.
It is.
What's up?
Yep.
So, you know, I guess I'll pose this question. It's the SEC. Don't get me wrong. I know about the SEC. I don't get me wrong. I think Erik said it earlier throughout when I was chat. It's hard to go undefeated. Don't get me wrong. But at this point, once again, it's just nitpicking. These are just things you pull out as, you know, as an observer. Who has been our best win right now? Right now, is it a 7-3 Arkansas team?
If I had to pick a best win, I'd say Clemson. Because when we played Clemson was healthy.
Clemson done lost 4 or 5 games, right?
This is what I'm saying. Because when we played Clemson, they was
they didn't
fully
have a lot of people
healthy.
that walk off the team.
They was fully healthy. They've lost transfers. They haven't played the same offensive line 2 weeks in a row.
Guys, I think y'all missed my point. I'm saying our best victory when it comes to like voting and your best victory of the season when it comes to being like the #1 team. Like right now, the highest ranked team, the team we don't beat right now is a 7-3 Arkansas team. Everybody else got 3 or more losses. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, if you're going by ranking,
what I'm saying?
If you're going by ranking, Arkansas. Yeah.
So what I'm just saying, when you want to nitpick and just look at things in totality, I get it's the SEC, but that's why I'm coming back with this whole athletic matchup thing. Is like, guys, we haven't, you know, I don't care how you want to look at it. It's not been a great year for the SEC. I mean, in terms of our schedule, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to have so many teams with so many losses. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to be matching up with teams that got 0 losses, maybe 1 loss. And I just think that's a whole different kind of ball game that we have seen in the past. At least I think that. I don't know because we haven't played, of course. But that's how I look at it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm so big on the athlete.
Well, I think some of us wouldn't even going back to the whole needing JT to have reps because we want our offense to be more explosive or whatever, because we're thinking at one point in time in those 3 games, we may get into a situation where we have to score, you know, or have to go back and forth for whatever reason. I started looking at it like, okay, let's say Ohio State, Alabama, whoever can put up, I don't know, 27 on us.
Just don't get behind 10.
Only reason why I say that, even if we get behind 10, let's say we get behind 17-7, right? What defenses out there are playing elite enough to stop us? It's not like I'm not saying that our offense is elite, but
let me say it right now. I'm gonna keep saying the damn show ain't Ohio State.
I honestly think the better defenses that we may face are behind us.
You gotta put you on mute, Erik.
Damn that. Damn,
So
Ohio State, no, they got flaws.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So even a team like an Alabama, like Ohio State, who might be able to put up 27 points on us from by whatever reason, I just don't feel like they haven't been able to stop lesser teams than us on offense.
We gonna scope.
So, I mean, I see your point. I'm with you because we haven't played those teams. You know, like say our best win, I guess, like say, Arkansas. But I feel like Arkansas's defense at the time that we played them is better than a lot of the teams, if not all of the teams that we're gonna face. You know what I mean? Because Alabama got athletes, but their defense ain't just because you have athletes don't make your defense good. That's what I'm saying. So if they can score on us, I feel like we're gonna be able to score on them. Like Alabama ain't been able to stop the run all year. So we still got to beat them. We still got to do it. I'm just saying that's my rebuttal to the whole playing other athletes. You see what I'm saying? So with that said,
thank you, Coach.
I was just asking the questions. I don't know how everybody else feel about it. So we got Charleston Southern coming up this week, and then go ahead, Cal.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. And then we got Tech after that. I'll be honest, for me, it's kind of hard to take either of those teams serious. I know it's possible that they beat us, but it's not highly likely. So I don't have really much to say about that. Anybody got anything to say about this upcoming weekend against the Charleston Southern? I don't even know their logo, to be honest. They mascot. I'm be honest with you.
No.
We shouldn't. We're just gonna write them a check and they can go home.
All right. With that said, man, let's move on. Since we missed last week, we got 2 weeks of pick results in. And so the week 10.
Hey, Coach.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? Let me ask Thad a quick question before we go into the picks. So you mentioned a lot of things we can't really control. And I don't even know why we're going down that road, but I'm gonna go down it with you. Because what you asked can be asked about those same opponents that you are telling me are going to have these athletes. And I don't know why we should be even concerned about that, because the reason why we always brag on the SEC is because we recruit better than anybody. So we know we're going against, and we ain't saying just because we feel good about it. We're saying because of where these athletes end up. Shake your head, let me finish. All I'm saying is, I can feel it though.
I can shake my head. I can't shake my head.
Yes, I want you to don't distract me. Those athletes. What I'm saying is, I don't understand why we can't look at that on the same flip side, because there's really only 3 offenses that we need to be concerned about from what you're saying, in my personal opinion. Alabama has the athletes. Ohio State has the athletes. You might want to look at Oregon. I don't know if Oklahoma's going to be there, but it's not a whole lot that we are really going to be faced with, because you got to be able to recruit to a certain standard to even be in this position. If Cincinnati gets there, that's not going to be the case.
We'll drop the hammer on them.
If Penn State slides in or some other Big Ten team, I don't feel like those athletes would threaten me. So, no, I'm not worried about that, because again, it's uncontrollable anyway. All we can do is beat the people on our schedule. So you said look at our schedule and who we played. What else could we have done besides?
What's Bama's big win? Who they beat? What's their big win?
No one has that big
win.
Right.
CA. I don't know. Maybe this is, first of all, I got a whole bunch of Georgia stuff on my head too, and on everything I got on. So what I'm saying, I'm not saying that these guys. What I'm saying is, I never said y'all acting like I'm saying these guys would beat us. All I'm trying to do is make a distinction between this right here. The 3 teams that you have mentioned are all undefeated or have possibly 1 loss.
Huh?
The 3 teams that we're talking about playing in the future have 1 loss or are undefeated. Right? So what I'm trying to say is, everybody that we have beaten already is not the caliber team that we're gonna face.
Just because they only got one loss don't mean they're a high caliber team.
They shouldn't be.
I mean, that's duh.
They ain't playing nobody. You
But
said because they got one
Thad,
loss, they automatically a high caliber team.
Thad, to what you said, Thad, to
Their
what
competition
you said,
ain't
that's
nothing
true.
either.
That's true. Okay, so
right.
nobody on our regular season schedule is Ohio State. But what CA came back and said is nobody on Ohio State's schedule is Georgia.
It's Georgia.
Listen, I'm not debating that. This is what I'm saying. This is all I'm saying. I keep going. My original point, I just be talking about 3 games. Maybe you guys are missing the point that I'm making.
No,
I'm not saying that those guys can beat us. So what I'm saying is those teams who are 9-1 and 10-0 and like us, those are different caliber teams. All I'm saying is we supposed to be beating these teams like we're beating right now. Granted, we'll probably beat them a lot worse.
Right, they're playing the same kind of team. They ain't beating them like that. That's what you got to. That's your measurement.
I get what you're saying because
they was
like this is what like going into the Tennessee game.
So we ain't worried about nothing. We just gonna beat up on everybody. Why even talk about it?
We didn't say
we are worried about something, but at the same time, all those teams that you just mentioned, when we played them, they had 0-1 loss. They're still good teams. There's only 4 playoff teams, shawty. You know what I'm saying? Of course, those are going to be the elite of the elite to have no losses or 1 loss.
I'm sorry. Maybe I missed. Maybe my point not getting. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm not explaining myself.
We understand. Right. Like they are. Like Ohio State is gonna be if we play Ohio. Like okay, let's start with Alabama. Let's start with Alabama.
Opponent.
Alabama will be the best. Alabama will be the best opponent we've played at when we get ready to play them. So yes,
and we'll be the best team.
Who is going to be their best?
True.
Right. Okay.
That's where I was going. That's where I was going with that. It's the same argument I was having with Tennessee fans. Really.
So
hold on. Hit me out.
CA, no one. You're at this point. I know you're a week-to-week guy, but I'm just talking about just prognosticating things about the future. Can you do this for one time? It's no one moving forward on the schedule that bothers anyone. And from a standpoint that
we only got 2 games on our schedule. I don't know what those other teams are going to be.
No. However, 3 games, however you want, whoever we want to match up with.
Mm-hmm.
It's out.
Ohio State and Alabama.
Everybody.
We will be the favorite.
I never said that.
Play for the rest of the year.
I didn't say we're going to run through everybody.
I never said you did. I just asked the question.
Ohio State and Alabama.
That could have just.
That's like when I started this with Cal. Cal said Ohio State, and I said I agree. And Alabama. Those are the 2 teams I think that match up the best with us. That don't mean I think we gonna run through them, and that don't mean I think they gonna beat us. That's just those are the teams I've been saying since day one. Like I know we had to run through the schedule, but it's always been Ohio State, and I think CA alluded to Oklahoma because of the type of offense that they run and the wide receivers they have and things of that nature. But I had to start me and JV talked one night, and JV was telling me how he's not going to do the whole big tailgate because he wanted to enjoy it. And I had to start I was like, I'm looking at this so under a microscope, I ain't even enjoying this thing. And it's like, it got to the point where every time we play somebody, they say, this is something that Georgia hasn't seen. But they never reference how this is something that team hasn't seen in them dogs. That's my only point. I think, yes, Ohio State has the athletes. We haven't seen the offense like Ohio State, but Ohio State also, I have to tell myself, Ohio State hadn't seen no defense like the Dogs. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't even know if Ohio State seen an offense like the Dogs, to be honest with you. I mean, Stetson out here putting up, ain't that right? Eron Stetson out here putting up Heisman-like numbers. I mean, had they seen an offense?
Well, the thing is, I mean, you hold on, coach. I ain't say all that now. Wait a minute. But the thing is, Stetson, I mean, in real talk, we don't even throw the ball in the 4th quarter, bro. We throw the ball once or twice in the whole quarter. We're not even trying to stack. Dog, when Alabama get up 21 points, they're still throwing the ball and trying to hit. That's not what we do. We don't even throw the ball.
I just think
let me make a quick point, Coach. Let me make a quick point. So the Tennessee game to CA, I think CA made the point that, their out the locker room first quarter scripts of plays. That was the best that they had to offer, right? And this offense, of course, you can't practice that speed. You can't practice that type of frequency in practice with the scout team. So you saw what that. I say what now? Say what now?
I don't know that. I don't know why like y'all we just beat some kind of world beater, man. It's a 5-5.
I make my point. God damn,
talking about that offense,
man. You can't.
So my point is this: like out of the locker room with Tennessee, they scored on us, right? And they don't have realistically, again, like somebody said, the Joes and the Jimmies. We'll get into. I think we're gonna get into a game with one of these teams coming up, and I think the point that Thad might be making on this is those first 10 scripted plays out of the locker room, true enough, with a team that got Jimmys and Joes might turn into a first half full of, back and forth for, 2.5 quarters or 3 quarters full of back and forth. And that's all we got to be prepared for. Listen, we know other teams got talent, but at the end of the day also, in fairness, we do have that talent too. So from both sides of the equation, I think that everybody actually has completely valid points. When you put good coaches on the same sideline as good talent, then shit, it's just made for a good ass game, and that's what we expected. I expect for us to come out on the top of each of those good games, but I don't expect for us to world beat anybody because, truth be honestly, I'm more afraid of Alabama than I am anybody else simply because not only do they have the Jimmys and the Joes, but we still got to get over that mental hump, which I think is a little less of a molehill this year, but I think it's still standing in our way. So, yeah, we got to be prepared in all instances, and we can't take nobody lightly, but we a hell of a team also, and somebody going to have to feel the pressure that we apply too.
True. Can I just say this about Alabama? No matter what happens, they can't beat us twice. I don't care what they're gonna have to beat us twice, and they cannot do it. They will not do it in 2021. If they get lucky and win the SEC champ, they will not beat us twice. Period. I don't care what nobody say. Shake your head if you want to. They will not beat us twice. Period.
You disagree with that, Thad? You shaking your head. You disagree with that statement?
Speak up, Thad. What's going on, baby? We know we got more.
I just don't understand how this nitpicking. If I nitpick, it's like I'm against Georgia, but y'all guys saying the same thing that I'm saying. But it's
we're gonna win the national championship. Like, I'm saying that. Let me say that.
This man just talking about now. Y'all just went up being all world beaters. He just listen. That's what y'all be flip flopping. That's just like
the thing is, how about this?
I ain't flipped over nothing. I've been the same.
You always critiquing our answer. Why don't you just answer the questions? You waste a lot of time critiquing us instead of answering the question.
Ain't nobody first. Huh? Yeah, you said that. So almost cussed on the line. You said that.
We didn't already cross that barrier, baby.
Yeah. I don't be critiquing y'all answers. I thought this was a show where we talk. Everybody's supposed to be on the same page, and all I do, I might reference something that you said.
We don't need to be on the same page, but you always ask us to recap.
We said that. We never said that.
This is what I'm talking about right here. We just went from let's be undefeated. Basically, everybody thinking, in a sense, I thought had the next. Everybody think we can go undefeated. Cause can't nobody win us. Beat us. Then this man here just come and say Alabama they can't beat us twice. So you already know you think we can lose soon?
Listen, Thad, let me say this. Let me be real clear. Every game we play for the rest of the let me finish, man.
So when I bring up Alabama can beat us, don't act like it's a crazy point for me to make.
We never said that Alabama
anything can happen on any Saturday, but they can't beat us twice. If they were to be in any other team at Oklahoma, I'm not scared of them. We're going to beat them. The only team that has a chance is Alabama, and they can't beat us twice. So let me be clear. But
now that's Erik's opinion.
I'm glad we can say their name.
I'm just saying, but understand that was Erik's opinion.
See,
So
you
just don't
let
put that
us
on
say their
the whole
name early in
panel.
the season.
Yeah.
I'm glad we can say their name now. We can say Alabama name now because we couldn't say their name early.
Because that's who we gonna play
They're
now.
almost on the schedule. They almost solidified their Western Division.
About,
it can be discussed. We ain't got nothing else really in front of that.
When you made mention to these teams having the Jimmys and Joes and the athletes, we never said that Alabama couldn't beat us. We never said that Ohio State couldn't beat us. Like nobody ever said that, Stat. No, nobody ever said that.
You just only focused on those games.
Nobody ever said
that either.
You just said that. You just said that we said we were going to go undefeated.
What I said is when I bring it up, you know, I'm not gonna go into it. It just ain't.
You said that when you bring it up, you said that when you bring it up, we act like that we can't lose to Alabama, and we never said that we couldn't lose to Alabama.
Anything can happen on any Saturday. Yes.
We never said that. Oh my goodness.
But we will be the better team walking on that field. That hasn't been the case any other time we played Alabama. We were not.
Cal, you got anything else to add before we get to the picks, man?
I ain't got nothing bad to say at all.
I ain't ready for the picks yet, man. We got to hash this out.
Okay.
Go ahead and hash it out, CA, man, because
I'm gonna go get
here, man.
Let's get it popping. 2 weeks.
Right, I need another one too, B.
Hey, I'm glad that makeup, man. Makeup.
Hey, man.
Go ahead, Thad. Come on, Thad. Give me one more. I'm listening for real. I'm gonna answer your question if you got one for me.
Listen, my whole point been out through the season. This is why I go back through the whole show because I thought we had initial points in the season. The initial point, one of the initial points that we had in the season, not to beat this hard, but this is what I stick. One of the initial points of the season were we need an elite quarterback to win a national championship. That's the initial point. So what we were saying was JT this elite quarterback? That was the first initial point that we went to, right? So that's why it's such a polarizing point between Stetson and JT, because we was all on this, you need an elite quarterback to win a national championship. So what I'm saying now, it seems like that sentiment has changed. It seems like we can ride with.
It has.
I'm not saying
games to look at.
I'm not saying who's better. I'm just telling y'all where I'm coming from. I'm talking about how sentiment has changed.
Sentiment hasn't changed, though, Thad. The sentiment has not changed. We're just saying we have to accept the fact that Kirby's going to start Stetson. That's all we're saying.
And coach, can we win it all? Can we beat Ohio State with Stetson? That's the question. Can we beat Ohio State? Is that possible?
I don't think so.
You don't think
so? We didn't say that at the beginning of the season. We didn't say that at the beginning of the season. That's all I'm saying. Everybody like
he wasn't the starting quarterback. Why would we say that?
That's all I'm saying. That's my point. My point, we was rolling with JT because we thought he was the better quarterback because he was starting. We was all with him because we know where Stetson is. We done seen him before. Yep. Let's go JT.
Yeah,
that's where we were in the beginning of.
That's what the coach
said. So how are we not?
I'm not talking about how the CA. I'm not talking about how the cake was baked. I'm just talking about we got to finish cake where we basically where we at right now. I'm not talking about what happened, why things. I'm just talking about sentiment has changed. It has because we was rolling with JT.
The ingredients
I still think we need JT, which is why I asked the question.
It's not an either or though. You know what I'm saying? If he's not playing, he's not playing. We can't base something off of something that he's not.
No. But what I'm saying is, CA, or I think a coach, one of them just asked, "Do you think we can win the national championship with Stetson?" All I'm saying is, if you would have asked that question in the beginning of the season, we'd probably like, no.
And
I got a question. Did we know we was gonna be giving up 6-7 points a game?
Did you know that?
No, that's a big factor. That's a huge factor.
That's what you got more data.
Okay.
You got more data. You got information.
Okay. At the beginning of the season, I think
but
at the
y'all
beginning,
talking about hindsight, and I'm not talking about that. I'm just
at the
talking about
beginning of the
how
season,
hindsight is watching the season, dog.
Okay, all right.
At the beginning of the season, we did ask the question: did we think we can win with Stetson? I think only one. I think. CA, did you say?
I said no. I said
Okay,
no.
everybody
was the
said
only one.
Everybody said no, except for CA.
no.
CA said yes.
Now, 10 games later,
10 games later,
we can.
let's ask the question so we can be clear, because it's
Right.
a lot of what
we
you're
don't
saying
share
is
answers.
a lot of what you're saying
We don't
is
share answers.
it seems like it seems to be the narrative might have okay, let's point blank ask. E-Rob, do you think we can win the Natty right now with Stetson? CA, do you think we can win with Stetson?
Yes.
JV, do you think we can win with Stetson?
Yeah.
Cool Cow, do you think we can win the Natty with Stetson?
Stay with your chest, JV.
I do. Yeah.
I still personally do not believe we can win the national championship with Stetson Bennett. Same point I made early in the season.
And
like when you want
to on record.
Okay, I'm gonna ask him.
So,
when I'm gonna ask him,
so
hold on. I'm gonna get to you. This is what I'm saying is when you don't. This is one of my pet peeves. Don't presume anything. Ask people exactly what you want to know. So you said the narrative seems to have changed. How about just ask? Has the narrative changed? Do you believe Stetson can win? And you can get a solid answer. So Thad, do you think we can win with Stetson?
No.
Okay.
So me and you are still at the same point that we was at the beginning of the season.
So everybody's still in the same space.
No, JV.
I changed. You know,
Cal,
listening.
That's why I'm asking for clarity.
Cal,
I didn't know that's why I asked.
Cal, JV, and E-Rob.
I changed because I think we got an all-time dominant defense. That's why my mind has changed.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else?
Before the season, you said you thought Clemson was good and you thought their quarterback was good. Do you still believe that? Can you not change after 10 games? Can you say that Clemson great?
That's a great point.
I'm just saying. No. Tell me that they were great. You said they were great before the season.
So 3 people changed.
Yeah.
Yes. Is
so
Clemson
that's what
great?
I'm saying. It seems like
Clemson a great team.
Would have changed if at least.
But that's not the majority. That's not the majority, though.
There was a reason, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't like the generalization. That's what I'm
just saying that it changed. I know there's a reason why you changed. I'm just saying it has changed.
Yes, and
for half of the panel.
Is something wrong with them changing?
CA
that was never the case. That was never the case. It's just the way we. And maybe because the way we talk about off-camera things and on-camera things. Like I say, that's why I brought up the whole recruiting of the black quarterback thing. If we win with Stetson Bennett or
JT
or JT
guy, JT. Cause how does that affect? But you see, we talk about those things. So while I'm bringing in this quarterback thing, maybe I'm mixing the two together. So guys, if I'm wrong and the narrative is still the same, I'm gonna bow down and apologize if I was wrong. But it seems like some people change their answer.
Some people did change their answer, but it's 6 people right now on the screen. 3 people changed their answer, 3 people stayed the same. That's half and half. So to generalize and say that it seems like the narrative has changed, just to say it seems like a couple of people have changed, because I ain't changed nothing. CA changed.
3 is more than a couple. Mr. Numbers, man.
3 is half of this panel. 3 is half of this panel. That is not the majority.
That ain't what
Mr. Numbers, man.
You said a couple. I'm just saying.
Okay. Well, you said it seems like the narrative has changed, and the narrative ain't changed for the group. It changed for 3 people. Since we want to be technical, I don't generalize. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. So if I say something, Mr. Check me on my numbers.
And the point that I'm making, you had 3 people that stayed the same with theirs. 3 other people changed. I'm talking about the people who obviously changed.
Well, say that. You just said the narrative has changed for everybody. That's a generalization. Don't generalize.
Ain't that? You still
okay. Listen, I'm glad.
So what's wrong with it? What's wrong with them changing?
Up, man.
What's wrong with them changing?
It was never a problem to change. That was never a problem. It's never a problem. Everybody right to their opinion. It's just about letting it be known that there was a change, because we have these debates on and off camera.
Nobody's
say
ashamed
y'all
of
be
his
flip flopping. Y'all be flip flopping, bruh. And like
Three people change their answers. Three people change their answer. How
flip flopping is going back and
not
forth,
saying that
back
y'all,
and forth.
not saying that y'all are
Since we
flip.
want to
Okay,
be technical,
not saying that y'all are flip flopping.
Flip flopping is back and forth since we want to be technical, right? Right?
Come
They
on,
didn't flip
Thad,
flop.
you did.
They didn't flip flop. They started one way, they ended another way. That's not a flip
2
flop.
games
That's
into
insane.
Stetson starting, I didn't think he could win it all. 8 games into him starting, yeah, I'm changing my mind. Yeah, we
Yeah,
can
they didn't blindly change.
No,
They didn't
2
just
games in, I was like, no, because that's what CA
change.
said. Yeah,
They didn't just wake up and change.
But 8 games in, yeah, I think we can. Because those other teams we got to play, they're not great. We don't have a great team to play. Anything can happen. Let me say that again. Anything can happen on any Saturday. But those teams are not great. We are a great team.
I think when the
We're
season
only great
started,
team.
it was a
That's
consensus for everybody who was in our panel and
I'm
silently,
eating it up too.
who silently placed.
They're not
I think
great.
it was a consensus for everybody that Clemson was going to be the toughest team that we played all year during the regular season.
On the regular season schedule, yeah.
Yep.
Right? Would anybody say that they've changed their mind from that opinion?
Nope.
No, it still is.
Nope.
So Clemson at this point in time is still the toughest team that we played on our
That
schedule.
we have
even though
played.
Yes,
even though
absolutely.
they lost 3 or 4 games.
When we played them, they was
Yeah.
the toughest game we played.
We ain't talking about that right now. I'm saying right now, because at the beginning of the season, right, we were JT. He's the better quarterback.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Clemson was the toughest team. Now we are, 10 games, 8 games, 9 games in. Again, we're now saying, and this is kind of like, I guess the kind of the anti kind of semi in a row with that type of scenario. I mean, you could change your mind because I'm looking at the history of what's happened.
No.
I'm looking at the history of what's happened with Clemson. I don't think they're the toughest team we played. I thought that at the beginning of the season, but now I don't think that they are the toughest team that we've played up to this point. I don't think that we were as good at that point, but I don't think they're the toughest team we played.
Who would you say?
So changing minds, I mean, if you look at empirical data, that's kind of what the data is for. The data is for you to make an educated decision moving forward. Because if you're gonna stay stunned on something while you're looking at in the face of empirical data and it's telling you something completely different, then use a dummy.
Yep, you the damn fool.
So who the toughest team we don't play on our schedule then? That's what I asked earlier. Who is our best win?
Don't matter. They all got blown out. Whoever it was, they got blown out.
Who was our toughest opponent?
Let's answer.
I would say our toughest opponent was, while we kicked everybody's ass, I would still say our toughest opponent will probably be the one coming up.
No. You brought it up.
I mean,
our toughest opponent?
I don't think that we were that good to begin the season. I think we are a hell of a lot better now. So I think our toughest opponent.
Okay, so you're saying that we wasn't as good when we played Clemson. Clemson ain't the same team now that they was when they played us. So again, who's the toughest team? Since they not, who's the toughest team?
I don't think that they're going to be the toughest team. Okay, I'll just throw one out there. I think that that Arkansas game, not Arkansas, but Kentucky would have been a more difficult game with just a lot better team.
What's Kentucky?
No, man, y'all are.
What's Kentucky record?
They 7-3.
They 7-3. What's Clemson?
That's what I'm saying.
What's Clemson?
You
said the data. Let's go to the data. I mean, the empirical.
Let's go.
Kentucky ain't did nothing outside of beating some trash teams too.
And what has Clemson done?
Exactly, but Clemson held us to 10 points. That's why the data.
But we also had JT starting, and his ass was throwing some trash ass balls. He wasn't goddamn playing good, and we weren't playing good on offense. So put that in the damn pipe and smoke that too. We played like some shit.
Hey. The other team across the line of scrimmage has a little bit to do with that.
Man, come on, man.
You said look
who
at the data.
Who had they lost to?
You said look
who
at the
had
data.
They lost to?
Who our best?
Who
our best wins? Who was our toughest games?
Say it again.
Who was our toughest opponent this year?
Now,
who had they lost to, Coach?
Yeah. We're gonna go around. Yeah.
Oh man. I wasn't even ready, and I've been sitting here the whole time listening.
Cal, I come back. Cal, who was our toughest opponent?
Coach Al, you love to throw questions, but answer the question. Who have they lost to?
They lost to us.
Who lost to?
They lost to NC State and they lost to Pitt. Who is Kentucky?
NC State and Pitt.
Who Kentucky? Pitt beat Tennessee.
So we beat Tennessee.
Kentucky lost to Tennessee. Hey, Kentucky lost to Tennessee.
Oh my God.
Florida.
Kentucky lost to Tennessee.
So
Pitt beat them.
So
you're trying. Oh God! Don't change the narrative, dog. You said that Kentucky was our best win.
You is that if you have one opinion early in the season and you go goddamn on 2 games into the season, things can change.
I never said it can't change, dog, but that don't mean my opinion has to change. I still think when we face Clemson,
I said my opinion was that
I never disputed
best win
that.
we had.
You said
who the best win then? Who the best win? I can say what the hell I want to. That's my opinion.
Never said you couldn't, JB. You said that if your opinion don't change, then that's dumb. That's what you said.
Data. I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at it and saying, no, they weren't the best team we played. First of all, at the beginning of the season, we didn't know what they scripted their plays out too. We didn't know what the hell was going on. We played like trash.
Okay,
did we not play like trash on offense?
I say it's Clemson, but you said that if you don't change your opinion, that's dumb. I don't have to change my opinion if I'm still looking at it with my eyes.
My point was that we were talking about the quarterback. I don't feel like the first game of the season was a good barometer for who we were and who they were. If you look later in the season, I don't think that they are at all the same team that I thought Clemson was going to be.
No, they're not.
Just
because
like
half
I
the
didn't
team
think
ain't
that,
playing.
I don't think that Stetson is the same quarterback that he was at the beginning of the season that he is now. Hence the reason why I changed my mind.
Okay, and that's fine, but you made the point that if somebody don't change their mind, they know.
You're a dummy. That's what I said. You're a dummy. That's what I said.
You're right.
Y'all tripping, man. Flag on the play, man. Y'all know
Now, when we rewind the tape, man, we gonna blame you. Just know that.
I'm the instigator.
Put us in this state right here.
Dad got us all acting like moderators, Coach.
Huh?
Y'all say y'all want to get them views up. Hey, look, CA. Now that would trip me out. That would trip me out about when you say that. Erod took over the whole show one day, and then nobody say nothing. Took over the whole show. That took the show for
But you won.
Erod ain't hit something, man.
Hey, man.
He only did it once.
You know, when I was hosting the show,
you sent us around the room at least twice.
What I say be polarized.
True.
No, you ask us. You still Ike's Mike. You ask us a question as if you're the moderator.
You be telling people what they need to
say. You said, no, I didn't. I did not say that. I never said that. Yeah, you did. No, I didn't.
It's just so provocative.
Oh, Stephen A.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Hey, I just want y'all to stand on what y'all say, man. That's all y'all.
I always do. I can't speak for nobody else. I always
the national championship this year. This is our year. I'm not scared of this. We're the better team. We're gonna be favored in every game. Here, I'm done.
As we should.
It's on tape.
I'll stand on this.
One lost team.
We beat Clemson. We're gonna go undefeated for the season. That's what I stand on.
You said it.
I said the same thing.
I don't know. You waffled a little bit.
No, I didn't. Y'all tried to tell me. Y'all tried to tell me.
Don't let him get Cody.
Y'all tried to tell me that Florida was the problem. I told you then that Florida wasn't the problem.
No, you said Missouri was a problem. You said Missouri.
I did.
Right. So go ahead and say that too, Coach. Let that.
Well, we said that last week, right?
We weren't on last week.
We weren't here last week.
What the last show? I owned up to it, right? I owned up to it, right? You also, Cal, since we pointing out stuff, you also said Auburn was going to finish last in the West, right?
And they still might.
No.
JB said they were going to finish second. Now they possibly could.
I said third.
They're not going to win.
I ain't say second. No, I didn't. I said third. I said they're going to be behind Texas A&M and Alabama, but they won't be last.
You know the one thought it was gonna be good.
That sounds about right.
Like, I don't change nothing I say, though. Y'all can't ever say that about me. I
You just changed what I said.
You're right. I made a mistake. I'm gonna go back and check the tape though, because so you know.
Go back and check the tape.
I am.
Check the tape.
See, that
Like, I don't walk nowhere. You see me at nobody restaurant.
Picks. Where we at, Coach?
Hey, let's get to the picks,
Yeah,
man.
man. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I ain't gonna be able to edit all this stuff.
You need to probably let this one play, man. This was gonna
Yeah,
be
this
like
this one go,
deal
man.
with.
This the after hours one, man.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna be able to, you can't add this one, Coach. You gotta hit delete.
Well, here's
Just
the
do
good
dump
pick.
it.
So week 10, after week 10, which is the week after we played, which is week we played Missouri. Cool Cal and E-Rob, y'all was 2-4. C-Rob and CA was 3-3. Thad and JV was 4-2, and I was 5-1. Last week, I was Cool Cal and me were 1-5.
Ooh, thank goodness.
JV was 0-6.
Here we go.
Thad and C-Rob was 2-4. The only two people that had a good week was CA and E-Rob. They was 4-2.
Damn.
With that said, the overall, the leader is E-Rob. 34-25. Thad is second. 33
Are you
and
not
26.
entertained?
I'm third, 32-27. C-Rob and CA are tied for fourth. They 30 and 29. And in the below 500 club, Cool Cal is 29 and 30, and JV is 26 and 33.
Well, you went
Brother
from
Mike.
You say, Cal, you ain't 500, man. Can't respect nothing.
You were just leading 2 weeks ago. What?
Anybody got the
I'm in
game
second place.
pulled up?
No, I'm talking about Cal.
Cal, yeah. Anybody got the game pulled up?
That's exactly why I don't bet. I keep my money in my pocket.
Cal normally had a game. You got a game, Cal?
Yeah, I don't even got the game. You got a game?
I don't need.
Cal normally have them.
Oh, hold on.
Depending on Cal.
Hold on.
I can pull them up.
Hold on. Let's see what we got here.
You can't dump this show, Coach. You're gonna have to just.
I'm just gonna play it. I'm gonna let you know
play.
it's cussing and everything. It's whatever.
Put the asterisk up.
It's whatever. I'm just.
Oh, you gotta put this one in the archive. You gotta put this in the dog.
Nah, man.
I got him.
Play this one.
I got him, Coach.
All right, go ahead.
They go to view.
All right, first game we got Iowa. We got Iowa State at Oklahoma. Oklahoma 4-point favorite.
Iowa State at Oklahoma? Is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
I'm going with Oklahoma. Who you going with, CA?
I'm gonna take Oklahoma on this one.
Who you going with, JV?
I go Oklahoma.
Who you going with that?
Oklahoma.
E-Rob?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with them Sooners -4.
Cal?
I'm gonna go with Ohio State. I mean, excuse me, Iowa State. Give me Iowa State.
We know where your mind is.
All right,
What's
the next game, man?
All right, we got Wake Forest at Clemson. Clemson a 4.5-point favorite.
Give me
Clemson
Wake.
the favorite?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I need Wake in the points. I need Wake in the points now.
All right. E-Rob?
Yeah, let me get Wake in the point.
All right, Thad?
I like Wake +4.
Cal?
I like Clemson. Toughest team on our schedule.
JV?
I'm gonna go with Clemson, the sorriest team on our schedule.
I'm going with Clemson.
They gonna beat Wake Forest because they ain't ready for that heat.
I'm going with Clemson. What's the next game?
We got East Carolina at Navy. East Carolina's a 3.5-point favorite.
All right. I'm gonna go with Navy and them taking them points.
Yeah,
TA.
Yeah,
they're getting 3.5. Yeah, they're getting 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
Who you going with? All right. That
Navy at home.
I'm going with that wishbone All fan, man.
Mm-hmm. I
E-Rob.
bet they win best dress too.
Yeah, let me get. Yeah, let me get East. Let me take Carolina on that.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Yeah, I'm bucking.
Okay.
JV
Yeah, I'm taking Carolina.
and Cal.
I'm gonna take Navy in that one.
All right. What's next up on the docket?
All right.
Service.
Let's go out here to the Pac-12, 10, whatever it is. We got UCLA at USC. UCLA is a 3-point favorite.
All right. I'm gonna go with UCLA. E-Rob.
Yeah, UCLA.
That.
UCLA.
Cal.
UCLA.
DA.
I gotta go USC. They at home and all y'all pick UCLA. This is where I flip this tide at right here. They ain't got no coach. I know they ain't got no coach.
Don't they share a stadium? They share a stadium, don't they?
They sit in LA regardless. They both at home.
They at home. They at home, okay. I'm going UCLA. they at home, okay.
You like that?
The USC, I don't think they share no stadium, dog. USC play at the Coliseum and UCLA play at the Rose Bowl.
Get them, coach.
I'm sorry.
I
don't know, man. I'm dumb, dog.
It was a joke.
Yeah, I know somewhere.
It was funnier the other way though, coach.
I like it.
Hey man, now this next game. What about this next game? That didn't seem fun to y'all to spread on this next game.
I don't know what it is.
It's K-State.
Baylor at Kansas State.
Yeah.
Baylor at Kansas State.
It's a pick 'em.
Baylor giving up 1. Baylor giving up 1 point, really?
Yeah, I'm taking Baylor.
They know
Vegas
something
about that?
Baylor.
Vegas knows something about it, don't
Yeah.
I'm taking
Taking Baylor though.
This
Yeah,
the
no
type
doubt.
games K-State knock somebody off. I'm taking
Yep.
K-State.
All right. E-Rob.
Look, Cal is absolutely right. This is the kind of game that Kansas State, but no, Baylor gonna do their thing.
That.
That's so fast. It's gonna be the game that helped me catch E-Rod right here. I'm gonna catch E-Rod with this game right here, baby.
Okay.
So you
No, I took Baylor.
E-Rod took Baylor. E-Rod took Baylor.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you went.
Yeah, I was saying not so fast, my friend.
Yeah. JB.
Or so.
Yeah, I'm taking Baylor.
CA.
Baylor Bears, baby.
I'm gonna go with KSU.
This is where they knock somebody
Crazy
off.
spread, man. That's a crazy spread right there.
It is crazy.
Hey.
They know something.
And what's the HBCU game of the week, Cal?
Of the week, we got Alcorn at Jackson State.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Jackson State and Dion.
Yeah, prime time back on the sideline, man. Let's go.
All right. CA.
I done fell in love with this little story they got going on down in Jackson State, man. I'm gonna root for prime time. I like that Alcorn quarterback though. He a local kid from Atlanta, but I'm going with prime.
E-Rob.
Coach Prime.
JV.
Is Prime actually standing up or he on his scooter?
I think I'm a little scooter, man.
Wheelchair.
Wheelchair, I think.
Scooter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
He all the way in the chair.
All right, I'm gonna roll with them, man. They gonna probably give him some sympathy play too. They want to play hard for their coach.
Yeah.
Jackson State.
That's a clean sweep. Give me Prime.
All right, there it is, fellas.
Hey guys, real quick, since we just talked about Jackson State, now I just heard that TCU and some other schools are talking about Dion maybe being a candidate.
Dion
He
is on his
denied it,
second.
though.
Okay, well, you can't deny them saying that you're a candidate. I'm just saying, if let's say he was, y'all.
Dion,
Well, they say he interviewed.
He interviewed.
He did?
And he got called for a
They
second.
say he interviewed, but he said he didn't.
Okay.
He said he didn't.
Yeah, he denied it, but yeah, he interviewed and got called for a second interview.
Really?
Wow.
If I was him, I wouldn't touch TCU.
I wouldn't.
But I wouldn't be mad at him interviewing, just to
Give him
interview.
exposure.
Because he probably know he don't want TCU.
He probably that showed that people want him. So
Does he ever leave Jackson State, or does he? I mean, just for the symbolism, or does he go to a bigger?
I think so. He leaves.
I think
he
eventually.
Yeah, he definitely leaves.
It won't be because
Clay he want to coach his son.
Yeah, I think he might hang around till
come with it.
His second son, the youngest one, leave.
The quarterback.
All right.
That's what I'm thinking.
Any closing thoughts?
It work now. You can just take him with him.
I got a closing thought, man. I really enjoyed it, man. Glad to be back, man. I know we all heard that halftime speech that our coach gave. I tell you what, I run through a brick wall for it, man. I was so happy. That just warmed my heart to hear a man talk to his team that way.
Real
just
talk.
shoot them straight, man. You
Real
know,
talk.
it is what it is. It ain't always going to be pretty. So, you know, I know we got a good leader. I'm leaning on that leadership, and go Dogs, man.
Go Dogs, man.
Well said.
Well said. Anybody else? Anybody else before we close out this Royal Rumble?
CA said it all right there, baby. Say less. If y'all heard the tape, if you haven't heard the tape, go listen to that tape. You'll be about to run through the wall too. Let's go.
Exactly.
I got a quick question for Thad. Do you think we could beat Charleston Southern with Stetson?
Got no tape,
Well, I don't know.
All right, man. For Thad, Cool Cal, JB, CA, E Rob, and our homie missing in action, C Rob, man. Fan, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Man. We out. Go Dogs.
Man, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.